Thank you. Every one of these steps is going to take... Well, shit, I've got to start over again. God bless it. All right, we're just taking the same color that we put on here originally. This is just the standard Russian green that we put the wash on top of. So we're going to just go over it in this color. Damn mutation. I need an assistant. Or just not do live things. Or just not give a shit. Checks in the mail. Joke's on you, though. We're going to pay you in dollars. Ha 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 ha. We're going to pay you in Canadian dollars. Australian dollars. Is that worse? Is Australian or Canadian dollars worse? I think Australian dollars is worse. It's less money. Sign language always works. Not if you don't know what it means. I don't know how to send the correct message. No pesos or yen. Is yen one of those? Isn't like the Japanese economy like really good, but yet their yen is like a million of one or something like that? Like that doesn't make any sense. See, to me it should stand out like. But I don't think that the pound sterling and the dollar were ever 1-to-1. I don't think they ever were. Which doesn't make any sense to me. I'm not a finance guy, but if Britain like owed the U.S. a lot of money for the Second World War, wouldn't you think that, it would affect that? I don't know. Pesos vary all over the place. I've gone to several different countries the last 2 years and never converted to their currency. Never. I just pay for it through the credit card with the exchange rate. It automatically exchanges it for you. And in Spain, I just pay with my phone. I'd never even done that before. I'd never used my Samsung wallet before. Yes, I'm the one American that doesn't have an iPhone. And won't. I don't want to relearn that shit. Relearn how to do stuff. I'm too old for that. Yeah, and then you could pay, what was that guy's name? Your wrestler dude. We're going to pay you in Chinese Bitcoin. Whatever the hell that is. Well, today was the first 100-degree day. Of course, it's not really 100 degrees. It just like feels like 100 degrees. That's literally what the temperature said today. 94 feels like 100. And it's still April. I always thought rupees sounded very elegant and expected them to be like gems or something fancy. Right. They're made out of rubies, right? Rupee. That's like an Indian ruby. We have a very rich culture. We pay for all our things with rupees. Rubies? Yes. Is rupees one of those that, you need 1 million of them to buy a loaf of bread or something like that? Weimar Dutch marks or something like that. Like, you need I can't even think of it. I can't think of what it's called right now. Wow, I'm under caffeinated. Wheelbarrow. Thank you. Wheelbarrow full of money. It's May. Is it May today? Oh yeah, I guess it is. What's in this purple drink? No, it's not. Is it? Oh yeah, it is. Probably due to Zelda. Is that what they use? They use rupees in Zelda. What's the coin that I like? Oh, there's this one game I used to play. That always forgets what I always forgot what the name of it is. It's a game made by Microprose, and it was all in the 1500s in Germany, and it was florins. Dude, bad news. It's way into May. I know. I'm not paying attention. It's a weekend. I'm not supposed to think. I'm burned out. Just imagine if I've ever done drugs before, which I hadn't. Well, only caffeine. That's a thought enhancer. I would get shit done without caffeine. So I went to take my car to go get a PM, preventative maintenance, and to see what was going on with the air conditioner, and there was a leaky an O-ring, and then while they were looking around, which was covered under warranty, which I'm surprised, and I was looking around, and they found that they go, your clutch bearing is worn out. We need to replace that. And I'm like, man, I want to take the car home with me. Do you Darklands. And it's kind of a role-playing game or whatever. You're basically fighting the Teutonic Knights that apparently have a pact with Satan. Because your final battle is... I'm going to ruin it for you. The game's been out for 40 fucking years. Baphomet. It has a Baphomet cult. It was kind of creepy, even though it has EGA graphics. That's creepy. I don't like satanic shit. You know? That sheet's creepy. That sheet's creepy. Whether or not you believe in the devil or not, that's, they don't have to believe in the devil if they're doing human sacrifices. But anyhow, there's that was a big battle. Yeah, Darklands. You got to create your own little shield for your characters or something like that. It was extremely repetitive. That sheet's scary. Darklands, yep. It's probably free on one of those sites. I don't want to play old games. I've played them before. I've already done time playing old games. EGA graphics and things of that nature. MIDIs. I made a MIDI. It's on sale on GOG all the time. You don't want to get it. It's way too old. It makes the original Baldur's Gate seem like advanced. I remember the original Baldur's Gate. Like, I was doing fine, finding shit, killing kobolds, orcs, whatever. And then it came across these fuckers with these magic arrows. And they basically stopped me dead in my tracks. Like, a couple archers with magic arrows, and the next thing you know, I couldn't find my head out of my ass. And I never finished the new one. The new one, the old, why can't we get along? Well, because one of the characters looks like, has green skin, and the other one has freaking red skin. A mishmash of Fruit Loops. And unlike other games, you have to, that's the people you have. You can't just create other characters. You create your one character, but your other characters are just, they're like pre-made. So that's not open world enough for me. It's a little too Star Trek for my taste. I'm like, why can't all the humans band together? Like, sorry, we have to kill you. Why? You're not a human. You're a beast. You had a dabble at making woods like your DBA ones. Took me a minute or two to figure out how you did them. Had a dental infection and was dehydrated, so you were out of it, but it was quite fun. Oh, man. If I had to do the woods again, I'd probably use a hot glue gun. How did I do them? Oh, yeah, with the trees. That was a while ago. I'd use clump stuff now. And probably hot glue them. Now that I have a hot glue gun. Because the good thing about a hot glue gun is you can just keep going. It's not like you have to stop and wait for that shit to dry. It dries really, really fast. So I ended up, while I was waiting forever, anyway, so I ended up having to leave my car. Because I was, yeah, man, your clutch thing is, we're going to replace this and it's covered, and you'll shift. I mean, you say, I want to go move your car, and your clutch is really hard. I said, dude, the clutch has been excruciatingly hard since day one, man. It's like the hardest stick shift I've ever had to drive. I've only had to drive like 3. But anyhow, like, it's super difficult to drive. Oh, it'll be much better. So, well, don't turn into a limp noodle. Don't turn into some limp noodle or whatever. So we'll see what they do. But they kept the car, so. Now I'm all European and have no car. Also tried the Vallejo white stone paste, which is actually supposed to be for concrete. Reckon it'd be perfect for making MDF buildings into concrete bunkers. Yeah, well, you got a cool place that you could source all that stuff out, or maybe you don't, but I got to get everything by mail. I ain't got shit here. Getting low on this stuff. The cool place is Amazon. Yep. So I ended up, while I was waiting on my car then and everything, I ended up taking the plunge and ended up getting this book on Kindle that this guy put together. And with all the T-35s, that all the excerpts that we read about the other Daddy Bezos. Guy's weird, man. Look at me straight. I'm over here. No, I'm over here. I'm looking at you in both places. You know, the thing is I'd rather buy it at a store, but I don't want to spend 8 hours driving to stores, and then when you go there, people don't even know what's even in the store. So they did it to themselves. And then the return, I don't know how it is in the UK, but the return policy on Amazon in the United States is second to none. You go to one place, you return, you can return it. The only thing, the place isn't open on Sunday, so, don't do any returns on Sunday. Take it to the UPS store. They process the returns, which is not far away from here. I only return stuff on Amazon if they didn't keep their end of the bargain, right? My end of the bargain is I pay for it. Their end of the bargain is don't sell me shit. So if you sell me shit or something that doesn't work or it's defective, that's when I return it. It's not like let's order 20 things and return them. No. I think they're on to you. I think they keep track of who does all that stuff. I think I'm going to have to make myself a coffee. Because I'm already like, I'll be right back. Okay. Sorry about that. You've never returned to Amazon, but I've had several canceled orders. The latest one was a book on 20th century artillery. But I've had several canceled orders. Like what, you like ordered it and then go, oh shit, that's the wrong book. Cancel, cancel, cancel. Amazon doesn't do it, but man, when they ship anything and it goes to U.S. Postal Service, talk about fucking up the handoff. The Amazon delivery is better than anybody. UPS is number 2. UPS used to be number 1, and the Amazon delivery service, as a general rule, is the best one. They'll tell you it's going to take a week and it gets there in 2 days. Occasionally, things don't arrive on time. Maybe under 10% of the time, in my experience. But when they do the handoff to the Postal Service, and they do one of those things where, oh, we tried to deliver it, but you refused shipment. Like, bull fucking shit. You know? That shit. You know? That's happened to me 3 or 4 times. They're going to be, oh, it's going to deliver on Thursday. Cool. So you're waiting on it for Thursday. And then it's there. It's nearby. It's at the local post office. It's out for delivery. It's like freaking 8 o'clock at night. What happened? Customer refused shipment. We will try redelivering it the next day. Like, you fucking liar. You just didn't want to fucking deliver it. So not only are you lying to me, but you're making it so that I'm lying to you. Like, I didn't refuse it. I've been waiting on this thing for a week, asshole. Which was used for general research, but then I learned of a wonderful what if, the Hoffman plan for a joint 1918 German, British, and French intervention to oust the Bolsheviks. Did they let the Germans fight after 1918, or they just scrapped all of them? The Bolsheviks, the B word. That one got encrusted quickly. The bloody B word. Bolshevik. You dirty Bolshevik. Anyways, back to video games. There any video games you regret buying? Like, or just so bad they don't have any redeeming value? Yogesh! What's up, man? Worst game you've ever bought? I don't know what the worst game I've ever bought is. Oh, yeah, I do. The worst game I've ever bought and spend money. And some people are going to think I'm crazy. But it's difficult to use. It doesn't do what... I got talked into buying it. I used it once with somebody's help. Tried to do it again. Don't want to learn how to play it. And man, it makes my computer really loud and warms it up a lot. And I can never remember what it's called. Tabletop Simulator. I hate that fucking thing. Has this corny ass music. I know some people like it. It's just too much trouble. Way too much trouble. Some stayed to help the Estonians, and German troops landed in Finland to help Mannerheim. What a trilogy of films that would be to fight the Finnish Reds. Oh, there were Reds in Finland? Shame on them. Yeah, the Tsar was a fucking dickhead, alright? Let's get right down to it, but that doesn't mean you gotta turn into a damn Bolshevik to fight him. Like, that's not cool, man. It's no fair. These people have all this stuff. What's your solution, comrade? Let's all of us be poor, including the rich people. Yeah, I can go for that. Fuck that. It's gonna make you wish you were dead. Man, I can't wait to die. Why? Because I won't suffer anymore, you know? Screw that. Mannerheim. Yeah, I guess he was in both wars. Okay, so the swastika ban. Does that apply to Finland? Meaning, if you're in Germany, if you're one of these places that you can't show the swastika, right? You're not allowed to show it. What about Finnish planes with Finnish markings? Does that apply? I would think it would. I would think that it would apply. It's still the same symbol. It's still a very similar symbol, let's put it that way. I started watching that 800 movie while I was waiting for my car. You know, the one that's in Shanghai or whatever. And just as long as I'm like, all right, well, this might have something of value, my earbuds died. Like, oh, great. The one time I'm sitting around with nothing to do, I could actually watch or something. Earbuds died. And I'm not one of those people that's going to listen to it in public. You don't believe so? Same with Buddhists in Germany. You don't believe that you're allowed to show it? I would think you're not allowed to show it. It's the same damn thing. I mean, you know, if one's the problem, you know, and we all know that the Germans weren't Buddhist, but I have no love for that symbol. I like the German Imperial Eagle, but I have a soft spot for black eagles. I'm a big fan of them. All right, so now we're gonna kick this up a notch, which means we're gonna add dark sand to this. Oh, I forgot to say, even if you don't have time or inclination to play a Tunisia game, it's worth booting up the encyclopedia it has and checking out the vehicles and the technical info. I didn't even know it had that. I need to just boot it up and just throw myself in a scenario. Like I said, I know exactly what I need to do. I just don't know the buttons to do it. You know? I know exactly what I want to do. Like, okay, we got this open line. All right, well, we got artillery. Let's get the tanks up there. You know, I just don't know what buttons I got to press to do it. All right, so we're going to add a little bit of this dark sand to this. And the modulation experimentation. You believe their symbols are allowed, but the Finns are probably scrutinized a bit. Well, they helped the Finns when they got invaded by the Russians, right? The Western Allies helped the Finns when they got invaded by the Russians. I mean, if Hitler hadn't invaded Russia and the Western Allies hadn't helped Russia, Russia would be the bad guys, right? I mean, hell, they already made a deal with the Germans. They attacked Finland and the Baltic countries and all that shit. You laughed out loud today as Pit Butar said something like, only an Asiatic dynasty like the Prussians would cling on to authoritarianism. Somebody failed geography. Now, I know that Prussia was more Eastern, when they united Germany, their sphere moved to the West, right? But they're less Eastern than Finland. Everybody's had authoritarianism. Is this that in your World War I book? In reference to the Kaiser and Hindenburg's opposition to reforms in 1918. Well, I don't know. Was the Kaiser that much of an authoritarian? I mean, it's not like people in Germany didn't have I just think of the World War I Germans like Alexander. Like, were they bad guys? Not really, but they're warmongering, and they got a lot of people, I don't consider Alexander a bad guy. I mean, the bad guy. I mean, the Persians did all kinds of, the Persians were pretty tolerant, but, they were out backstabbing each other too. That's what, they weakened their own country. It was an audiobook, so it might have been a poorly conveyed quite from a German politician. It's not narrated by Mr. Butar, is it? I like it when the narrator narrates his own stuff. And he's very easy to understand. There we go. We got rid of this one. What for somebody to say, he's not a mister, he's a doctor. Okay. Well, I didn't come on here to suck anybody's dick, alright? They weren't a doctor before they became a doctor. Just a regular looking. Unfortunately, the paint schemes on these things are rather lacking. One of them is going to have the white triangles on it. Another one's going to have probably that one with a number 14 on it. I need one more. I don't think I'm going to do a whitewash one. The only reason I was going to do it was maybe in case any of the white is showing, but if I can keep that from happening. I just don't want to pull this whole thing off. No, it's by someone else, really a well-spoken chap who reads the German, Russian, even Hungarian words believably, and I assume correctly. Yeah, or at least believable enough for you. Unlike that book that I have about the conquistadors, which I don't think the guy's even ordered off the fucking Taco Bell menu correctly. And he's out there trying to pronounce Spanish and Nahuatl names and just killing them. Just absolutely brutalizing them. So, Dan Jones, who I listened to his War of the Roses book, he does a superb job of pronouncing things. He probably thinks it's important. He does an excellent job of pronouncing things. But the guy that narrated his book on the Plantagenets. It was just a great book, by the way. That dude, I don't know how I finished that book. Because he is just so unexciting. He's one of the worst narrators. He's almost as bad as Charlton Griffin. Man, I hate that guy. And he's prolific. You want to read a bunch of ancient stuff? He's done them all. And Charlton Griffin, I'm like, what kind of pompous Tory bastard is this guy? You know, and he's not. He's some guy from Washington State that puts on this Shakespearean-esque voice that is just like, it's like an accent that doesn't exist. You know, you're like, oh, this guy's from this place, this guy's from this place. This guy's like a make-believe accent from who knows where. And he mispronounces things all the time. And he breaks sentences off in the wrong, I mean, you know, he's like the opposite of Phil Barker. Phil Barker doesn't use enough punctuation. This guy uses too much. And he's prolific on Audible. Prolific. The guy's got, you know, every Roman type thing. Well, I don't have to worry about it. I'm not reading Roman stuff. But, you know, anything that's even remotely like, you know, Polybius and all that kind of stuff. He is just Livy. He is prolific in the stuff that he narrates. And he's awful. He's so distracting. I ended up getting a copy of his narration of it's called The Jewish War by Josephus, and it's all like all the biblical time period, you know, like during the type of I think it goes probably earlier than that, but you know, you've got Herod and all that stuff, and Anthony's campaigns, and you know, in the Middle East and Cleopatra and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, all right, there's a lot of players, and it's really complicated. Like, there's a lot of guys that switch sides and a lot of factions and stuff. And I couldn't keep up with him, man. It was just so distracting. And it's a shame because that's a really interesting history. But he absolutely butchered it. Like, he ruined it for me. And I think somebody else does it, but it's abridged. I don't want to listen to something that's abridged. You know? Like, I've got a couple of books that I have heard really good things about them. And I got them and then realized they were abridged. And I haven't... No. I got the book. I'm never going to read the book because I got to sit down and read the book. And that's like an impossibility. I can't do that while I'm driving. And they have them on Audible, but they're abridged. And I mean, like, I don't dare read them. And there are those, I think there's 3 of them. They're the ones that are written by, funny enough, that lady that did some kissy novels. And it's Fortune's Favorite, The Grass Crown, and First Man in Rome, or something like that. And it's all, you know, Sulla, Marius, Julius Caesar, Pompey, all that kind of stuff. And it's like the as far as I understand it, it's like the Rome miniseries. Like, there's stuff that really happened, and then she fills in the blanks with a bunch of dialogue and stuff that, you know, but it's abridged. I'm like, well, how do I know that what was not included isn't the stuff that I would have enjoyed the most? You know? That's the problem with abridged stuff. So... the book that I read about Tunisia is excellent. But it has the problem that everything gets equal time. In other words, there's a lot of events in there that are really unique, like a one-off thing, you know? And they repeat these one-off things in different situations, and you're wondering, is this something that just happened one time and they report on it? Or is this something odd that happens all the time? So it gives you kind of like, you don't really know what the frequency is. Okay? And what I mean by that, why that's important is, let's take, for instance, you watch the news, right? So you have some reporter that's on some scene, and they're out, and they're describing an event that that there's two drastically different sides to it. You listen to the sample for the Jewish War, and I know what you mean. He's horrible. He's horrible, and the guy's prolific. Maybe he's a nice guy. He breaks the sentence. He stops the sentences in a natural way, you know. And I probably did a shitty job of it last night too, but I was really fucking excited about that. I don't know if you could tell. And was coked up with caffeine, because I'm a drug user. Vitamin C. Caffeine. Yeah, read the. And I've actually finished one of his books. I don't know how. It must have been a Polybius one or something like that. But so this guy, Rick Atkinson, is the name of his. It's really good. The Tunisian one is called An Army at Dawn. It's actually, the narrator's really good. It's not the same narrator that's doing the Italy one, and the Italy guy is not as strong. But he describes all these situations that are kind of unique. Like, they go in and, like, you know, say maybe some Americans take a town under fire, right? And really unique stuff happens. Like, they kill a donkey, or, you know, they blow up a wine vat that has like a 50,000 gallons worth of wine. Or, you know, you're wondering, how often does this rare event happen? You know, and it's important because if you're like a reporter on the scene and you're reporting, say, a protest or something where people are, you know, where there's two sides to a story, and you don't quantify that there's 10,000 people on this side of the event and 2 on the other, you as the listener get the idea that everybody's split 50-50, and that just isn't the case. In the same way, you know, you can't have a situation where you describe, you know, well, you know, they went every time and these civilians got killed, and these odd things that happened, like people stole a piano, and I mean, it's all interesting. It's really, really interesting, but like, you have to quantify the frequency of it, because it's just, all of a sudden, it just kind of blows things out of proportion. I don't know if I kind of understand what I'm saying, but after you've listened to a whole book of it, you're like, man, he brings up some things that are really interesting, but it's things I've never heard before, which I'm not a Tunisia expert. So it'll be interesting to see how he gets into France, because he does the second book is Sicily and Italy, which I'm still not really well versed in. I know France a lot more. I'm certainly not a Normandy expert, but you know, you can kind of quantify that a little easier. But it's a really good. I mean, the writing is really good. It just has that particular fault in it. Yeah, Charlton Griffin is terrible. The book called Conquistador by a guy named Buddy Levy, and the guy that narrates it is just, he brutalizes everything in the Spanish language. I mean, it's not even close. Like I said, I don't think you can order off the Taco Bell menu correctly. Not Buddy Levy, whoever they got to do the thing. But still, the best one, without a doubt, is the guy who narrated Ghosts of Canai. He is spectacular. He's absolutely spectacular. I almost wanted to go in and find out, okay, what else is this guy narrating? That's how good this guy is. Now, obviously, if the story sucks, he can only do so much, you know. Yeah, go look and see how many books that Charlton Griffin does. Charlton Griffin, you know, he's just like he's not from your island. But, you know, me as being a stupid American, I thought he was. Maybe he's some Oxford or Cambridge educated guy. You know, he lives in Washington State and has some, you know, way over the top thing. And it's not his accent, it's just how he breaks up his sentences. Like, it's hard to follow. You know? It's like you're going for a walk, right? And every fourth step you trip over something. It's like, it's just awkward. It's distracting. I don't know, maybe I'd do a worse job, but I certainly would expect that people wouldn't let me do 40 or 50 books. Even whatchamacallit. I've read 3 or 4 of his books. Bill O'Reilly. He narrated one. I believe he narrates the one on Patton. And he does a horrible job. And you would think that Bill O'Reilly, okay, love him or hate him, whatever. Okay, he's a political commentator. But he does a lot of media stuff. The guy wasn't born yesterday, right? His meter is off on stuff. He mispronounces shit all the time. And the 155 battery, like, what? You mean 155 millimeter? I mean, were you born yesterday, dude? You know. I think it'd be cool to narrate a book. I think it would be. That's why I say until you have to redo something, come on your time. Like, fuck this noise. I ain't doing this. There's a couple other ones that have been really strong, but that guy that does the Ghosts of Canai is incredible. He's really good. The guy that did the Poison King wasn't bad either. That's, I think, a book that you get halfway through the book and then it almost restarts and ends up saying a lot of the same stuff over again. And I think it has a lot of things like the Rome miniseries, just like made up conversations that, you know, unfortunately have to be made up because the stuff wasn't written down. But the other one that's really good, I guess I didn't finish it. I gotta remember this. You really like Grover Gardner. Just check the Tunisia Encyclopedia and list the tank's vertical aiming angles, what type of radio it uses, and even the model of sight they have. That's a kind of good shit right there. What is this book was really good. This really surprised me. I need to go back to it. And it's a book on MacArthur, about MacArthur returning to the Philippines. I don't know shit about MacArthur. I really don't, you know. So where's the Audible? Where's the Audible account? Library. 82 titles. Yeah, we've been doing this a while. I don't know how I have Dune. I hope I didn't pay for that. Because that's something I would just never listen to. Archive that title. That doesn't need to be on. I'm never going to read fucking Dune. Return to Victory. I think that's what it is. MacArthur's Epic Liberation of the Philippines. It's freaking excellent. It's really, really good. Grover Gardner. Okay? I'm not going to listen to it live here because I don't know if I can get into trouble. His name's not coming up. His name's not coming up. Oh, this, you may be looking at it somewhere. It's not on Audible. I only have Audible, so. Not featured home. It's not a very user-friendly app. And if you lose your place in a book, God help you. See, now I've lost my... Listen history. Show me my library of the stuff that I have. I don't have the stand. Okay, I don't give a fuck about the stand. Features, audio. Okay, how about... Home. Show what I have, asshole. I don't want featured. How about the ones I have? No. It's not user friendly. No, I don't want 676 results. I want the ones I have. God bless it. Where is it? Anyhow. Oh, man. He sometimes goes under the name of Tom Parker. Why wouldn't you use his real name? Tom. Nope. Nothing here. Tom Parker, narrator. Here's a Tom Parks. Does your Audible app randomly stop playing? Here's what I hate. I get in the car, it starts playing immediately. Like, I usually have my volume down. Like, oh shit, I missed a couple minutes, so I have to rewind it a couple times. All right, this is where I left off. And then I come in for lunch. I'm like, oh, this is a really good part. Let me continue listening to it. And then it doesn't. And then I get back in the car and it's scrambled again. I'm like, son of a bitch. Dream Park. Dream Park, okay. Learn how to spell. By Larry Niven. Narrated by Grover Gardner. Why does it say play? Alright, let's see.
Blackstone Audio presents...
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Park by Larry Niven and Stephen Barnes. This book is read by Grover Gardner. Preface. It's been almost 30 years since Dream Park was published, and we...
Sounds kind of nerdy, but he's got a lot of energy. And that's super important. That is probably the most important thing. If you got a guy that doesn't want to be there, I don't want to listen to him. Okay? I don't want to listen to the guy. I don't want to add this to the library. How about the Plantagenets? This guy needs a freaking... The book is superb. Oh my God. He re-narrated his book. That's not the guy I had. Here's a Dan Jones narration. I might actually buy it again. Dan Jones is excellent. He's a bit studious, but he's got some energy. All right, let me go to my library. Where's my library? Okay, now I can see my titles. What the fuck is going on here? Let me see if I can go to... Crap. This one. Okay, well, now show it on my display. No. And I read Castles of Steel, and I wish they had Dreadnought on there. Look, I clicked on it, and it's like disappeared. Finished. Here it is. This is the book that I want. Picking up where I left off. That's right. Make this big. Clive Chafer. That guy sucks. And it's...
The Conquest of Ireland. Preface. Who were the Plantagenets? The name was not used by any of the characters in this book to describe themselves, with the exception of one, Geoffrey, Count of Anjou, a handsome, belligerent, red-headed young man born in 1113, who wore a sprig of yellow broom blossom.
I mean, he just like... Now, I got through the whole thing, but oh my God, gagged me with boredom. And the book is superb. It is a superb book. Oh well. Clive Chafer. I'm not reading another one of your books, dude. And it's not that he has an English accent. It's got nothing to do with it. It's actually better with somebody with an English accent. But he's some guy that doesn't want to be here anymore. I remember there was a history program I watched with my dad sometimes. I'd come over to his house when he lived in the old neighborhood. And he still would watch some history program. We'd turn something on. They had this English historian on who was incredibly difficult to listen to because he wouldn't sit still. Like, I'm pretty sure he's got a condition. And the guy's name is Simon Schama. And he's doing all these gesticulations. Try to keep your pants on. That word's not supposed to make you excited. He's doing all these gesticulations that don't have anything to do with the stuff he's describing. You know, he's almost as bad as, who's the car guy? Scotty. Give that guy some wings and he can take off, right? But Simon Schama was just like all over the place. And my dad's a university professor guy. I'll never forget what he said. He said, man, that guy's got he's got an itch in his ass he can't scratch. And I think he's a pretty well-known historian, but man, he was all over the place. Really distracting. You know, if you have a really interesting story, don't distract people by your delivery or your gesticulations. And like, be excited about it. I mean, you know, I get excited about stuff. History's, I'm not interested in everything, but I'm not going to narrate, you know, American Civil War shit. I'm not going to be excited about that. So is there a scenario on that Tunisia one I should just fire up and do? Is one that's not too complicated? I'll make sure to play the Americans in it. Something that, like one of the first American things, so if I get hosed, well, these guys were green anyways, you know? I never really thought about it. I guess it's got Brits in it, too. But there was a lot of Valentines in 1943 that were still equipped with a 2-pounder gun. And that's sad. That is not an effective weapon in 1943. I mean, it's all right on an armored car where you're just taking out other light vehicles, but and people say, man, Shermans weren't very good. Well, at least didn't have Valentines. And Valentines were fine when they came out. Everything was equipped with a 2-pounder, but 1942, things got ramped up big time in the desert. Cactus Farm under the Long Stop Hill section. Okay. That should be easy to remember. Cactus Farm. Long Stop Hill. I would imagine it's probably the first battle of Long Stop Hill. I read the book. I wasn't listening to that book while I was looking at a map, but then I went back and looked at the map and have kind of visualized everything kind of correctly. I read the book and I chuckled because there was this hill that the Americans had called Wop Hill that a bunch of Italians were defending. I'm like, man, I guess that saying of them goes before World War II. Wop Hill. That's all the Italians are on that hill. I'm like, wow. And the other feeling I got was that, I'm not really dismissive of the Italian armed forces in World War II in North Africa until you get to Tunisia. And in Tunisia, it just seems like they're like gonna surrender every chance they get in Tunisia. Not the case in 1941 and so forth, but once they got to Tunisia, it's like they could see the writing on the wall. That's a nice simple scenario. Brits move to the right, Germans try to stop them. Well, I'm going to play the good guys. Well, who are the good guys? If you don't know who the hell the good guys are in that scenario, you need a spanking. And not the kind you're going to enjoy. Chewy Gooey Pass is also a simple one if you want to use the Berglanders. Chewy Gooey. Okay. The Berglanders. Nobody here refers to them as that. And it's not like it's an embarrassing name or anything like that. It's like, come on, you could do better than that. Come on, chaps. Do your worst. You could do better than that. Berglanders. Were burgers common in the 1940s in the United States? I don't know. Coffee drinkers. Because people over here don't drink tea. I don't know why. Tastes a hell of a lot better. I don't because it doesn't have enough caffeine. Okay. So, that part is done. I gotta take a little boy's room break, and I'll be right back. And what is the next thing I'm supposed to do? Pin wash is coming up soon. Okay, where's the decals fit in there? I didn't write on there when I want to do the decals. Well, the decals could be after the pin wash, if there are any decals. All right, be right back. Hopefully I won't forget to turn this thing back on. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to put this tank sideways. I mean, what the hell is the tank sideways? Ah, that's right, I got to turn this mic on. Right back. Hey, what's this tank laying sideways mean? Oh, that's right. Turn on the microphone. Well, we did that. Chewy gooey pass. Yeah, I learned a lot of stuff reading about that. I mean, there's some people I didn't know anything about. Nothing. I'd never heard of Anderson. Never. I'm not a Tunisia guy. You know, like I don't even know Alamein stuff. To me, it's like okay, it's foregone conclusion. Don't want to read about Alamein. You know. Let's take a look at which one of these we're going to do and finish one of these all the way. And it's not going to be the. Oh, it cooled off. It's only real feel of 98 now. No way. So let me go to my Kindle thing, which I don't use a whole lot. I don't even think it's on this page. And let's go. There's a lot of pictures on here. And this guy literally like pinpoints like where some of these tanks were knocked out. I'll just read something compared to light tanks. This was my thought. 80 millimeter on a Panzer I must be a typo. Yeah, there's nothing 80 millimeters on a Panzer I except maybe the width of the tracks. Okay, that's a modern one. Let's see if we see something. All of these are like really. Oh, now you're acting all weird too. Okay. So there's another action that involves these T-35s also at this place called, and I haven't been able to deal with it very much. You've got the Verba one, but there's other one called Sasiv. There's this other action Sasiv. So I'm probably going to do the one that has the antennas as this one right here. That has white triangles on it. So, red star and white triangles on the turret. I just want to go back a page. This one has a 14 painted. The Germans put 80 millimeter front armor on the Panzer 1F. So the Panzer 1F is a weird vehicle. It's a really weird vehicle. I want to say it has something to do with like clearing mines or something like that. And it's actually a fairly attractive vehicle. I think it's a fairly attractive vehicle. Let's go to the most knowledgeable book for that. And that's this thing right here. And I bet they didn't make more. I bet they didn't make more than 50 of them. Panzer 1F. How many did they make? 30 produced. Yeah, this thing. It's a pretty attractive vehicle. Fat little bastard. $80 millimeters of front. Yep. Further development of the Panzer I with the heaviest possible armor is the main design feature. The initial order of 30 given on the 22nd of December 1939 was filled, but an additional order for 100 was canceled before production began. The final development vehicle, the VK-1802, was built with the VG-153-19 pre-selector gearbox. That tells me nothing. The Panzer F had a Schachtelaufwerk interleaven suspension with overlapping road wheels and a torsion bar suspension. Its 80mm front armor was impenetrable by most anti-tank guns of the period. The commander had 5 periscopes set in the turret roof for vision to the front and sides, plus a binocular telescope for sighting the machine guns. Vision for the driver was provided by a sliding shutter visor in the superstructure front and a periscope mounted on the hull roof on the driver's left side. 8 were issued to the 1st Panzer Division early in 1943. The 12th Panzer reported 3 operational of a total of 7 on the 1st of July 1943. Armed with 2 MG-34s. Heavily armored infantry assault tank. Well, 30 produced from April to December 1942. So something like that in 1942 is probably pretty impenetrable, but not by 43, because that's got less armor than a Tiger, which is just kind of, kind of a waste. Turret front 80, superstructure front 80, hull 80. So the turret's at 80 at 0 degrees, so flat. Superstructure 80 at 10 degrees. That's probably like equivalent to like 85, 87, something like that. Well, I'll have to get my, whatchamacallit formula out here. Pythagorean theorem. Hull 80 at 20. That's even more armor. Yeah, I don't... It's an attractive vehicle. Yeah. I was thinking they made a mistake in that Maya's front game. No, they probably had him there. A Panzer 1 equivalent of the Panzer 2 Lukes. Yeah, it looks... They're both attractive. The Lukes. Use the Force, Luke. Lukes. So one we're going to do this 14. Oh, but the 14 has a radio antenna. Well, I'm doing the other one on the radio antenna. Sorry, 14. No soup for you. So I've got one that's just a plain red star. One of them will have the 2 lines in the red star. The other one will have... You know what? I could do 14 on the one with the radio. No red star. And then the other one has the triangles without the red star. So red star on one of these. Okay. So that's the only one that's going to have decals. So we only need to put the clear coat on one of them. Let's see if we can grab this without spilling it all over the place. I'm afraid that one of these days that's going to happen. And the star is in, I'm not sure if I put it in the right place there. Yep, it's right in the middle of the second set of road wheels. All right, so we're going to clear coat that on, might as well be this one. All right, so while that one dries, we can't mess with that one. One of these is going to have that's going to be the one with the little angles. And that's right, I made a decision, but I didn't write it down. Oh, okay. This is going to be the one that has this has the red star and also has the little lines. Okay, cool. And then we're going to make this one this one has the white triangles and this one has the 14 on it. All right, so we can go ahead and paint a 14 on it. And where does it go? It goes on this tiny little space here. Okay. And those those white triangles are just slopped on there. Let's be lazy. Nah, I'm not. So let me just grab a gray and do no. No, let me not do that. It's not really that attractive of a vehicle. It's not like it's ugly. See, here we go. It just can't be done. Every time I use that top. What's an ugly German vehicle? What's an ugly German vehicle? Top 5 ugliest German World War II vehicles. For me, it's them Steyr trucks. They're ugly as shit. Their nose on them is just horrendously ugly. That RSO with the Pack 40 on it, that's an ugly ass vehicle. Panzer II-D is pretty unattractive. I mean, the Marder II-D is pretty unattractive. Not the Marder III. I think the Marder III doesn't look bad. The Marder II-D is ugly. Germans don't have very, very ugly vehicles. My opinion, I don't think they're very ugly. They're just using them for ugly purposes. That kind of goes without saying. You could never decide with a Schwimmwagen. You know what? I'm right there with you. I know exactly what you're talking about. Sometimes it looks great, and sometimes it's like, what kind of a fucking galosh is that? Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think the Kubelwagen looks attractive. I think the Horch cars look good. The one that has a long nose, I'm not really a big fan of. The square nose front one I like, but Dicker Max looks good. Stur Emil looks like a little too haphazardly put together. And then there's some vehicles that are just extremely attractive. The Nashorn, Panthers as a general rule. Well, I don't like the Panzer 3s and 4s that the turret thing in the back. Sorry. I'm prejudiced that way. The running gear on a Panzer 1's unattractive. Bogwarden. Oh, we gotta look that up. We're getting an education here. Isn't that one of the houses in Harry Potter? Borgwarden. Borgward IV. Not that mine clearing thing, is it? I've never seen this before. Is this like a Lorraine Schlepper with a... Crew 1. A remote-controlled demolition vehicle. Oh, I didn't know about this. Got a multiple launch. Looks like a... Who the hell sent me a message? Looks like it's got a multiple launches system of Panzerschrecks. Bison Sig 33. Yeah, it's pretty unattractive. That's pretty unattractive. This is a cute picture. Bison passing an early KV with the slanted front. I don't have one of those. Early KV2. It just looks like you wouldn't want to drive this really fast down a windy road. You know? Like, you're going to have problems staying on the road. Where's the 14 again? How long is that one? Kind of hard to tell. Haphazardly painted in there. See, I actually think most of the Soviet vehicles are attractive, except an Su-14. An Su-14 is like, what was somebody smoking that day? The Borgbog was remote controlled by a Stug. Wow. Remote, so it had a cord. Huh? There's that narrow ass 14. Now the question is, this number's on the back here of that piece. Do I keep it on the same part or move it up to the front? I'm going to keep it on the back. Which means that 4 is going to be interesting to get in there. It'll end up looking good. Borgwag, I've never heard of that one before. That mine clearing, didn't they have that one tank that was like round or something like that? Can't remember the film showing the SIG-33 firing and how precarious the crew looked when it fired. I didn't know that, I don't know if all of them had this, but some of them had the entire infantry gun with the wheels behind that surface. I didn't know that. I mean, that's handy. Like, okay, this transmission on this vehicle doesn't work anymore. All right, well, let's just roll a 150 millimeter infantry gun off, and we can. Here you go, as you were. Oh, the biggest vehicle that's probably the ugliest one has got to go to the Porsche Tiger that they only made one of. That snuffleupagus looking thing is just ugly. There you go. I'm gonna put a little tail on the front of this one. You Brits know what the hell a snuffleupagus is? Or am I just making shit up you guys wouldn't know? And there's really no reason why you would know what it is. It's that I think he's an imaginary friend that Big Bird had on Sesame Street. I think he's imaginary. That spells snuffleupagus. We need a side view of this joker. See if I can find one that's representative. Snuffleupagus side view. It's a hairy, earless heffalump with eyes in the front of his skull. Looks like a Porsche Tiger. Yeah, big bird. That crypt mine clearing thing is a perfect kit for sci-fi conversions. Yeah, a mouse is ugly as shit. Mouse is ugly. It ain't got no alibi. It's ugly. I don't know if this is exactly where they go, but to have this not be balanced would drive me. I'd have to check into an insane asylum. So it's going to be balanced on mine. We used to get Sesame Street on Saturday mornings in the 1970s. HR Puffin stuff. HR Puffin stuff. Lots of people a few years older than me have all these stories about HR Puffin stuff. And I'm like, what is this? What is this? I looked it up one time. I've never seen that ever in my area. It's a bit creepy. We had Captain Kangaroo. And it is kind of haphazardly painted. Yeah, I had this one friend of mine that was a modeler, and we'd get into arguments about he liked to paint he liked late war German stuff, and I liked early war German stuff. I really like mid-war German stuff. I don't like the early war shit. I like the mid-war German stuff. He's like, oh no, I like the short German boots. I'm like, nah. If you're gonna do Germans, you gotta have the Han Solo boots. Sorry, that's the kind of boots that. You know, that's the S&M Germans I like. Have them big boots. S&M boots. Yeah. We have ways of making you talk and you like it. Ah, jawohl, jawohl. All right. And we can dial this up now. We got a couple lines we need to put on this one. Never saw HR Puff and stuff. But I know what it is. But not back then we didn't have it. We didn't have it back in my area. Because there's lots of stuff that just didn't get played in certain areas. Like, I never watched Rat Patrol. Not because I wouldn't watch it, it just wasn't available. I never watched Combat. They didn't have Combat on. Let's dial this up, make this lighter. Yeah, isn't it the people that made H&R Puff and stuff? Whoever the Croft people did, right? Weren't they the same people that did Land of the Lost? I think it is. A couple of New Yorkers go, hey, you know, it'd be cool. What, man? If we could make this land, like if you go off a waterfall, there'd be like dinosaurs and shit. Oh, yeah, like this fucking slee stack. What's a slee stack, dude? Oh, man, let me show you. I think so. I think it's the Land of the Lost people. But most of these have zero markings. Oh, I gotta have some kind of markings, or I can't identify between them, you know? The Germans were obsessed with having mobile guns that could be dismounted to form a gun line. The mounting of the 75, 105, and 155 infantry gun was still on their carriages. Really? Yeah, I know. When Germans obsess about something, man, it's better not to be around. You might be the target of their obsession. Like, easy there, Klaus. Germany, the land of no urinals. I'm just going to leave that there. Yeah, painted a little rough on purpose. Okay. Now we got some markings. Let's put the old, not microsol, microset, and let's get us a red star for this one. I may break the rules and put red stars on all of them because it freaking looks good. I don't like the commons, but the red star looks good on stuff. I don't give a rip about that. Let's see what we've got left. Well, we got some of these stupid decals have a hammer and sickle in the middle of them, which is kind of a post-war thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to put those on. And then we'll just, and these are micro scales, so these things are awesome. And then what we'll do is we'll just fill in the center with red. I mean, this thing is perfect to have like a big slogan on the side, you know, for the motherland or something like that. But these things were destroyed so quick they wouldn't even have. They didn't realize they were losing. And we're gonna need Tweezer Man over here. And they generally release really quick. Not quite yet. And they're not too thin, because this is my preference. I don't like to slide decals onto the tank. It's awkward. The Hausschrecke was a project that saw a fully tracked vehicle on a dismountable 105 F-18. They're on a Panzer III or Panzer IV chassis. By the time they were developed, they were no longer suitable. Oh, you know what else is ugly? I know it was just, I think, an experimental vehicle. But like a Panther bottom with like a Panzer IV turret. That's ugly. I don't know if you'd actually see one of those except in World of Tanks. Those are ugly. I don't care which way the hammer and the sickle are facing. Germans were on the defensive and not had time to remount the guns and retreat. Now, since I'm in the impatient type, I'm going to actually hit that right now with a paint. Oh my god, you got to wait for it. No, I don't. It'll be alright. There we go. Boring ass freaking decals. Actually, that would be funny. Write in Russian. The Germans sit down to pee. All right, pin washing time. I guess I should probably finish the refurb. No? Because that's where we were starting. I mean, the whole top is done. Of course, the turrets aren't done. Let's do the refurb. Let's do the refurb. That makes sense. We were only working on this before the other ones because we wanted to bring everything back equally. You have Agrax Earth Shade. That's amazing. Null oil any left? No. A la basura. Okay. Where's the other null oil? This one. Then after I'm out of this, then I exclusively have only the Army Painter stuff. I know, it's too much there. Whatever. Just another wasteful American. Lose track of time doing this. Panzer IV where the Panther turret looks mutated and it has that no turret basket look when you know it shouldn't. Yeah, it looks weird. I'm not a big fan of Schertzen to begin with. I really dislike. Now, I actually saw, I want to say it was a Panzer III Flampanzer that had Schertzen, but it was only on the hull, not on the turret. And that looked also very weird. And it's the only picture I've ever seen. You know, a Panzer IV with Schertzen on the turret and not on the hull, actually, in my opinion, looks even better than one with Schertzen. But just having Schertzen on the hull and nothing on the turret, that's weird. That's really, really weird. I've only seen one picture of it. Not a Schertzen fan, though. Just like a Sherman with sand shields looks weird. Especially in American service. Like, it's not one of the ones at Alamein or something like that. It's like, you know, you're in France and, you know, you go and put sand shields on the freaking, it just looks weird. Like, this shouldn't be happening. Good eyes. Okay, we did that one. Let's do these bolts that cut across. And these are pretty good models considering the 1/87th scale that's out there is Roco. And some of those Roco things just look devoid of detail. Okay, so this is all done. We're all the way over here. Let's cut this line of... This actually didn't take that long to do. It looks like that's all done. Woo! I had a whole cup of coffee, man. Why am I yawning? Yeah, I'm afraid I'm gonna have to cut out soon. I gotta do something to wake the hell up. I'm certainly not gonna go to sleep at this time. See you back at midnight, you know. Yeah, I'm gonna have to stop. We're gonna have to pick this up in the morning. All right, folks. As always, thanks for stopping by. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.